DeJounte Murray from the Spurs to the Hawks.
Hawks are trading Gallo and multiple first-round picks to the Spurs for DeJounte Murray. That's a really interesting backcourt in Atlanta now.
The Atlanta Hawks right now have a very, very big problem, and I'm not even sure that they themselves even realize it, and I do think it's going to get exposed in the playoffs, and if they don't fix it right now or very, very soon, things could go very bad for them around the playoffs time, because the way they play right now, they are good enough to make the playoffs, and they have the talent, but to make a run in the playoffs, not even from a talent perspective, but just the game plan and the way they play and how their offense really runs, I don't think it's sustainable when it comes to playoff basketball. And what I mean by this is that they are one of the most top-heavy teams in the entire NBA. Now, not just top-heavy being like that they only need so much production out of their best two players, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, those are the only two talented players, nothing like that. They have talent throughout the roster, but how heavily they rely on Trae Young and DeJounte Murray and how they both play and work together is just a detriment to the team as a whole, as Trae Young right now is averaging the second most field goal attempts per game at 22 attempts a game in the entire season. And I think he's only behind like Giannis right now. And then you have DeJounte Murray, who is ranked 13th in field goal attempts per game at 19 field goal attempts per game. That is a ton of shots only coming from two players on your team. And the last time I checked, two players are not good enough to carry a team to an NBA championship, especially not carry an entire offense. And the reason that this is such a big deal is because the rest of the players on their team are very, very mightily struggling due to all these shots going to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Even despite them both averaging a good amount of assists, it does not even it out at all. As the only other player in the top 100 on the Hawks in field goal attempts is DeAndre Hunter, and he is ranked all the way down at 67th. And with that many shot attempts tied up in two players, and then even DeAndre Hunter still being in the top 100, he's a lot less of the problem. The main problem lies within Trae Young and DeJounte Murray taking so many shots. I mean, with that many shots being tied in, it is bound to hurt other players on your roster by just them not getting the opportunities they would have usually gotten, and you can easily see that in a few big players on this roster. As you look at John Collins, for example, a lot of people have been bashing him and like asking him to get traded, but his numbers being down are almost completely not his fault, because due to all the shots and like shot creating opportunities for DeJounte Murray and Trae Young this year, John Collins' numbers have dipped significantly. His points per game are the lowest since his rookie season, and a large part of that is because he's averaging the lowest field goal attempts of his career also since his rookie season. And then even Clint Capella, a very proven guy around the league for multiple teams, he has proven that he's a very solid center, is averaging the least amount of points per game since 2015, the least amount of free throw attempts of his career, and the second least field goal attempts since 2015 as well. Two very proven players, one extremely proven in Capella, both are having the most down years of their careers in years, and it is directly correlated to them not getting a lot of attempts, or at least averaging the least amount of attempts in a very long time than they have seen, and that lack of opportunity is hurting them a lot and hurting their confidence as well. And it's not even just the big names on this roster that are struggling. You have other guys like Justin Holiday, Aaron Holiday, and Frank Kaminsky, all are very, very much having the worst years of their career, and I will just let you assume what is happening. Yes, they're all averaging around the least amount of points per game of their career, field goal attempts of their career, and free throw attempts as well. And I mean, it's just baffling how Trae Young and DeJounte Murray pretty much refuse to take less shots to help the betterment of the team. They're having good years and they're putting up numbers, but the rest of their team is not. And two players alone are not good enough to get you past, the second round of the playoffs? And I'm sure the Hawks have higher aspirations than that. So until Trae Young and DeJounte Murray take it upon themselves to decide to start getting their teammates involved and trying to make them better and make the whole team better as a whole, they're not going to find a lot of big game success going into the later parts of this season. And then even if you see more results of all of this, it has resulted in them being a middle-of-the-pack offensive efficiency team, because all their offensive efficiency is pretty much relied on two guys. So if they have a bad night, their offensive efficiency tanks, which is why they're only middle of the pack despite having tons of offensive talent littered around this roster. But they are also ranked 23rd in effective field goal percentage, 25th in free throw attempts a game, and 22nd in assists per per game, and are all the way up there at 3rd in turnovers per game, with Trae Young being in the top 6 in the NBA in turnovers per game. Now, I'm not saying Trae Young's a bad player. I'm not saying DeJounte Murray's a bad player either. I'm not even saying they're both ball hogs, even though it kind of is what I'm saying, actually. They are kind of ball hogging, but they do pass the ball and they do get their assist up. But like I said, their entire offense is based upon those two players. So when those two players have a bad game or an off game, the Atlanta Hawks struggle so much because John Collins no longer has the confidence or even like the really rhythm in his game right now to be able to carry the offense like he used to even be able to, because he doesn't get the opportunities he once was able to get. And we've already seen John Collins be frustrated by getting in trade talks in the past. So imagine how frustrating it must be for people wanting to trade him because he's not putting up the numbers he used to put up, strictly because he just doesn't fit within the game plan anymore of the Atlanta Hawks. And I just think it is going to be a ginormous problem once it comes to the playoffs, because almost all real contenders, if you look how they're built, look at the Milwaukee Bucks, for example, look at the Golden State Warriors, strength in numbers is a huge deal, and their whole team can contribute. All their best players get their other players involved, and they're just very good all around. But the Atlanta Hawks, despite having good role players on their roster, do not get them involved, do not give them confidence, don't make them better, and it's going to result in the playoffs. It's going to be very easy to game plan for the Atlanta Hawks, and I think they're going to run into major problems once they get around that time. And really, just to recap what I said in this video, their offense is way too one-dimensional and relies way too heavily on their stars. They're top-heavy as hell and is going to result in them getting disappointed very heavily in the playoffs. Also, being so top-heavy has resulted in many proven players that have been very solid for their entire careers, basically, to have some of the worst averages of their careers due to how little opportunity they were able to get. And then also, the results of it have not been good. It's not like they're dominating the NBA. It would be acceptable if they were winning a lot of games, but they've been an average team. And really, if you look at their efficiencies among the league, they're a below average efficiency team that doesn't get to the free throw line, doesn't pass the ball a lot, and turns the ball over way too much. Those are a recipe for a bad team, or at least not a great team, which is exactly what the Atlanta Hawks want it to be. So until they just find out how to work as a team and make the players around them better, this is going to be at best a second round exit team going into the playoffs. But that's me for Joseph Combo. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the Atlanta Hawks are going to struggle? Do you think they need to fix something? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If they have a point, hit the like button, subscribe button, it means absolute word to me, and I hope you have a blessed day. God bless you. So you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo.